In the chaotic cradle of Mount Olympus, amidst the endless feuds and divine power struggles, a new force of destruction and fury was born: Ares, the god of war. Before we dive into the mythic birth of Ares, we need to understand what he truly represents. In Greek mythology, Ares wasn't just a god. He was the personification of war, bloodshed, and the brutal side of battle. But where did this embodiment of chaos come from? To answer that, we must look at his divine lineage. Family tree, that's anything but ordinary. Ares was born to the king and queen of the gods, Zeus and Hera. But like everything in Greek mythology, his birth was far from a simple, joyous occasion. Zeus, the all-powerful ruler of Olympus, had his hands full with not just the universe, but also his tumultuous marriage to Hera. Their union was a complex mix of love, jealousy, and outright warfare. Fitting, then, that their offspring would be the god of war himself. But don't get it twisted. Hera wasn't exactly thrilled about her son's future profession. According to myth, Ares was born without the usual fanfare that accompanied the birth of other gods. Unlike his half-siblings, like Athena, who burst fully armed from Zeus's head, Ares came into the world in a more traditional manner. That's where the normalcy ended. Even as a child, Ares was drawn to conflict. While other gods found joy in music, poetry, and wisdom, Ares was fascinated by the clang of swords and the thrill of combat. It was as if the essence of war itself had been infused into his very being. But being the god of war in a family that wasn't exactly known for their peaceful relationships wasn't easy. Ares' parents had a complicated relationship with Zeus, though the king of the gods, wasn't particularly fond of Ares. He considered his son to be too chaotic, too destructive, even for the god of war. It's like when your dad wants you to follow in his footsteps, but all you want to do is start a heavy metal band. Ares wasn't about the orderly side of ruling. He was all about the blood and glory. Hera, on the other hand, had a softer spot for her son. Despite his flaws, or perhaps because of them, she saw in Ares the strength and passion that she valued. But even Hera couldn't deny that her son was destined for a path of strife. As Ares grew into his role as the god of war, his influence spread across both the mortal and divine realms. He wasn't just a passive observer of war, he was its very essence. Ares thrived in the chaos of battle, delighting in the clash of swords and the cries of the wounded. Unlike Athena, who represented the strategic and just side of warfare, Ares was the embodiment of raw, unbridled violence. He didn't care about the reasons for war, only the thrill of the fight. This made him both feared and revered, depending on which side of his spear you were on. But let's not forget that even the god of war had a soft spot, especially when it came to love. Ares' most famous affair was with none other than Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty. Talk about opposites attracting. Their relationship was as fiery as you'd expect, so much so that it caught the attention of the other gods. In one myth, their tryst was exposed when Aphrodite's husband, Hephaestus, trapped them in a golden net and paraded them in front of the entire pantheon. Imagine that for an episode of Olympian Real Housewives. Ares didn't just leave a mark on the battlefield. His legacy continued through his children. He fathered numerous offspring, many of whom embodied various aspects of war and strife. There was Phobos, the personification of fear, Deimos, the god of terror, and Harmonia, who ironically represented harmony and concord. Together, Ares and his children made sure that conflict and discord would always have a place in the world, both among gods and mortals. Throughout history, Ares has been a symbol of the darker side of human nature, the part that revels in conflict and aggression. His influence can be seen not just in ancient myths, but in art, literature, and even modern-day depictions of war. He serves as a reminder that while war can be glorious, it is also brutal, chaotic, and often senseless. Today, Ares continues to inspire storytellers around the world. Whether in blockbuster movies, epic video games, or TV series, the god of war remains a powerful symbol of the raw, untamed forces that drive humanity to both greatness and destruction. Ares is more than just the god of war. He is a reflection of the duality within all of us. He embodies the potential for both heroism and horror, for victory and devastation. In understanding Ares, we come closer to understanding the complex nature of conflict itself. So next time you think about the chaos of war, remember Ares, the god who brought both fear and fury to the ancient world, and whose legacy continues to shape our understanding of conflict today. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Greek mythology, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Join us for more epic tales from the ancient world, and who knows, maybe Ares will be watching too.